Emergency service providers work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Our main purpose is to save lives.
That's what we train to do.
Somebody dies or somebody gets saved.
For our first responders, the moment the call for help comes in,
4 people in the water from a sunken vessel.
the race against time to save a life begins.
How sick is this patient?
It is a life and death situation.
Through unprecedented access
His body's starting to shut down.
We need to do something quickly.
It is going to be painful.
and intimate interviews,
It'll certainly stick with me.
in this series, we're telling their stories.
It is a privilege to be able to help people. It's not something I ever take for granted either.
To change a patient's outcome feels amazing.
This week on First Responders,
It's definitely time critical.
Northland medics rush to a cardiac patient in an extremely serious condition.
He looks pretty compromised and I can't feel a radial pulse.
The pilots were concerned about the weather. Low cloud and thunderstorms were coming in.
A woman's crashed off her motorbike, but the rescue mission could be compromised.
We have an issue of the weather coming in.
Yep.
So we've probably got 15 minutes before we have to be gone.
How you doing, fella?
And a family trip to the beach goes horribly wrong.
North Shore, mate. Yeah, this 10-year-old boy has a deep laceration to his forehead.
In Whangarei, the crew of the Northland Emergency Services Trust is about to depart for Mangawhai Heads, and St John Intensive Care paramedic Leah Baker and critical care paramedic Jared Sharles are preparing for what could be a life-threatening situation.
A male in his 50s has been out surfing and he's had a sudden onset of dizziness and chest pain, and he's been assessed by the ambulance to have a rapid rhythm. We're told that the patient is conscious, but is in a rhythm called ventricular tachycardia. The two bottom chambers of the heart have taken over the pace of the rhythm, and they are beating way too fast.
Secure in the back, guys.
All secure.
Roger, take off brief.
It's very serious. There's no chance for the blood to actually fill those heart chambers, so you quite often with it will get a drop in blood pressure, and if it goes for too long, then quite often people become unconscious and go into cardiac arrest.
Hey, good morning. We've lifted Kensington for Mangawhai Heads. 4 POBs, flight time of 12 minutes, and we have 1 hour 40 minutes fuel.
We have to be prepared for the patient to have cardiac arrested before we arrive on scene.
They're saying a conscious VT. Maybe it's just a broad
complex
with elevation or something weird.
Middle of summer, Mangawhai Heads, the beach is going to be hugely busy. When you arrive on scene, there's a good chance there'll be lots and lots of people around.
I've got a couple of trees out my side.
Sure, mate, got you.
Back right corner. We're going to be well clear of those. Local shifts your side. Yep.
Anything that is light enough to be blown up in the downwash, the danger is that it will hit a blade.
All clear on your side, guys?
Plenty of room on the left. Lots of debris blowing, but we're clear.
Everyone's involved with keeping an eye out to make sure that where you're going is secure.
You happy with clearances on the back left, Joss?
Yep, I'm happy with them. I'll jump out in a second as well.
Okay, you guys are cleared out right door.
Roger, thank you.
The ambulance on scene had travelled from Green Bay Ambulance Station, so that's in Ruakaka. There's also one of the Lifeguards helping. They had the patient in the back of the ambulance on the stretcher already, initiating their treatment.
It looked like SVT, it's showing up as atrial flutter.
Yeah.
But to me it looks like a conscious SVT.
Yeah. We're met by Barb, who is the senior officer on the Green Bay 1 truck. We're told that he's been given some treatment for chest pain, so he's had some aspirin. And then she just reiterates the history that Simon had been out surfing today. He felt suddenly unwell, dizzy, with some chest pain, and he was unable to get himself back into shore. He's been towed to shore by a friend and then assessed by the lifeguards on scene.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, cool. When we first see Simon, it's quite obvious that he is in a compromised state. He is grey and sweaty.
It's Leah's turn to be on the clinical lead for this particular job. So she went in and started conversing with the patient.
Hi, Simon. My name's Leah. Feeling pretty rubbish?
Gives us a chance to figure out his consciousness level by his responses and things.
Has anything like this ever happened to you before?
Check patient.
No. Do you have any medical history? No. Okay.
Gives you an idea of that first impression of sick or not sick. And in this case, like for all of us, its first impression was sick, very sick.
So how long ago, Barb?
My first jobs were at 8:30, so it probably happened at about 7:45.
Like an hour and a half ago? How old are you, Simon? 46, cool. He doesn't have any radial pulses that I'm able to feel. He has no recordable blood pressure. He's complaining of significant central chest discomfort and dizziness. Right, I don't have a radial pulse. We have access? Yeah, okay.
There's a doctor here.
That's perfect, all right.
We couldn't get a blood pressure off him because his heart couldn't fill with how fast it was beating, didn't give it a chance to fill adequately to provide good circulation, so he was still providing some blood to his brain and his internal organs, but his body's essentially gone into a state of shock.
Okay. Sinus taken with apparently conducted supraventricular complexes.
With anybody suffering from dysrhythmias, rapid heart rate, it's always time critical because their heart can only sustain that sort of rhythm for a certain amount of time, so eventually the heart's gonna give out. It's definitely time critical.
It looks like an SVT more than a VT.
He looks pretty compromised and I can't feel a radial pulse.
And so that will go with a cardioversion?
Yep.
When we printed off the rhythm, we found that he was in a SVT, which is a slight conduction difference through the heart where the fast rate's actually originating in the top of the heart, but essentially it has the same issue that the heart's going so fast that it doesn't have a chance to fill properly with blood. I think he was at around 240 beats per minute, probably sitting at about 80 for a normal person. At the speed that he was at, it was quite alarming to see that rate. We need to do something quite quickly to get him out of that rhythm.
So what we're going to do is we're going to give you some medicine to make you sleepy, and then once you're sleepy, we're going to give you what we call a cardioversion. So we synchronise our pads and our monitor with your heart, and it gives it a shock at the right time, and it should hopefully slow that down and make you feel a whole lot better. Okay?
Our monitor identifies where the complexes are and where all the beats are at exactly the right time when we deliver a shock. The idea is to interrupt that continuing electrical activity, and it interrupts it for a period that allows it to reset, and it's like essentially hitting a fuse reset at home.
The intention is that when the heart restarts, it will start in a normal rhythm again. We can't get a blood pressure back.
We can't get blood pressure.
I've got no radial pulses.
No radial pulses. Right.
His rests have been about 28.
Sorry, mate. These are going to give you one hell of a wax job too when they come off.
As you can imagine, it's painful to be defibrillated, and Simon was conscious. Simon, we've just got to get to your back, okay, my friend? Here we go.
We delivered, in this case, some ketamine to dissociate the patient first. It essentially makes them go to sleep for the period of that shock delivery. So most of the time, patients won't actually remember it happening.
All right. The medicine to put you to sleep now, okay? Yep. Simon?
Yep.
How are you feeling, mate?
So place the pads and either
medicine kicking in?
Sternum, or
just go to sleep with it, okay? Simon? Simon, open your eyes.
And what Jared's doing is he's ascertaining the level of consciousness as we go, because we need to make sure that Simon is adequately sedated before we cardiovert him. Yeah,
how are you feeling, mate?
Triangle. It isn't yet.
Okay, yep. Right, so he is asleep.
And confirm everyone is clear.
Okay, everyone clear. Shocking now.
It was such a pretty morning.
The sun's coming up, it was warm, it was absolutely perfect. Took a wave. Just as I started to paddle back out again, I had this kind of strange feeling. Really irritable and not right. In a previous life, I did a lot of first aid training, and they tell you that when people are having a heart event, they will be suffering from a sense of impending doom. And that's what popped into my mind when I realised that something wasn't quite right.
The first thing I knew, Simon called me over. He said, I don't feel very well.
None of my limbs were working. I could barely talk.
It went from I'm not feeling very well, it went to like, I'm in trouble.
And he was on a stand-up paddleboard. He wedged his paddle under his belly and proned and started to paddle really wide because it's a wide board.
Doesn't look very far. It's a long way, man, when you're like battling surf and you're pulling, I don't know how heavy Simon is, like 80, 83 kilos or something.
I was even saying to Mark, mate, you have to hurry up. I'm really not feeling great. This isn't good.
It was a long time, man, probably 20 minutes, I think, 25 minutes. And got to a point, and I said to Simon, I knew we were gonna take one on the head, right? There's no way into the beach without you're gonna go through a closeout.
We eventually got close, and I don't know how, but, well, I do know because he knows waves, but Mark managed to weave us through.
We were not in good shape.
A lifeguard came over. I could hear people saying I can't get his pulse, there's no heart rate, we can't feel a pulse, we can't take his blood pressure.
And I remembered, like, just again, like this look on people's faces, and I remember then, like, this is actually deteriorating.
And then you hear the sound of the chopper. And I'm an ex-Air Force guy. I've heard many a rotor blade in my time. And I heard this, and I remember thinking, yeah, it's all gonna be all right. And then Leah appeared in front of my face.
Hi, Simon. Feeling pretty rubbish?
I just remember this overwhelming feeling that, like, we're in good hands now. Like, I mean, the ambulance crew did an awesome job, but it feels like when the paramedics arrived, like, things went up, like, a few gears.
They said, your heart has stopped doing its thing. It needs to be shot back. We're going to sedate you with some ketamine, and then we're going to shock your heart and take you to hospital.
All right. Give me the medicine to put you to sleep now, okay?
Yep. I was actually quite relieved because I was in pain and I just wanted some pain relief. Now, that was a strange feeling. It was like a big, massive plastic zip, comedy-sized zip was closing in front of my eyes. And I remember thinking, is this it? Am I going to sleep or am I actually dying?
Yeah. Okay, yep, right, so he is asleep.
And confirm everyone is clear.
Okay, everyone clear, shocking now.
Okay, push prune.
Yep. That looks like it's reverted beautifully.
So,
What we're looking for is for his rhythm on the monitor to revert to a normal sinus rhythm, basically, and that's what happens. So that's how we know that it's been successful. Okay, let's connect the blood pressure back up.
Simon. Hey, mate.
Good man, take a big breath.
Big breath for me. Take a big breath. Big breath, mate.
Okay, that's awesome. We're looking for all of his other vital signs to improve. So we're looking for his perfusion to improve, to increase his blood pressure. Then eventually, once the ketamine's worn off, we're looking for his level of consciousness to improve. Let's check for a radial pulse on that side, Jeff.
radial pulse.
Awesome.
This is Jess, by the way. She's chief lifeguard.
Hi.
She's the one doing all the doings till we got here.
So he was in the water, and what happened?
He complained of dizziness and weakness.
Yeah.
He signalled to his friends, and his friends towed him for 20 minutes to get him in. Didn't lose consciousness.
Big breath, Simon.
And
Big
he
breath.
started complaining of chest pain.
Yeah. Yeah, I've definitely got a radial pulse on this side. It is erratic like that. See what's
still pretty irregular, eh?
It's very irregular, yeah.
While Leah and Jared can now feel Simon's pulse, he's still not out of danger. And until his vital signs stabilise, he remains in a critical condition.
At first it was still over 100, then slowly over the next sort of 5 to 10 minutes continued to slow down and become more regular into a normal rate between 70 and 80. Could then feel pulses, got a better colour.
He's saturating well, eh?
Yeah, 100% on that oxygen.
He's from Auckland.
Squeeze my hand.
His wife's on her way.
I'll organise the stretcher and stuff.
Yes, please. Yeah, happy.
Actually, we'll bring
the bed, yeah. He's stable enough to move now. You right?
Okay, bro, we're still here, man.
He's just had quite a lot of ketamine. Yeah.
It's okay, buddy. We're here.
He'll be awake by the time we get there, probably.
His base consciousness had improved. He's still very sedated from the ketamine. That takes a while to wear off. It affects everyone differently, but it worked really well for him and did the job that we needed.
On your call, Kerry.
Okay, on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, that looks way better. It's just stabilising.
I'm dying.
No, you're not dying.
You're okay, mate.
I promise.
So he's basically... I'm dying.
Yeah, I know. You're all right, Simon. We'll get him inside. Yep.
I think the drugs that they gave him to try and sedate him was giving him a pretty interesting experience.
Where am I? You're just in a helicopter, mate.
But it's great, right? Like, if we're having that level of conversation, I think we're all feeling better because that wasn't happening like 45 minutes before.
Simon, we're going to Auckland Hospital, okay? You're going to be fine. I'm going to put some earmuffs on your ears. Try to close your eyes and just relax a little bit, okay?
So you can sit here.
You're doing really good. It's important for patients to feel that they're supported and that they have a support person if they choose. Mark had been the one to tow him in. He wanted to be there for his friend. We had the capability to transport both of them. You're okay. What's your name? Mark. Simon, Mark's sitting right next to you as well, okay?
All secure?
All secure.
Good. 4-5.
When I was in the helicopter, a combination of, I think we've got the best possible people helping, and he was much more lucid. It felt way better.
Northbound from Helimed 5.
Helimed 5, go ahead.
We've lifted Manga 5 for Auckland, 6 POV, flight time of 20 minutes, and we have 1 hour, 30 minutes fuel endurance. Right, so 145 on 90, heart rate 70, 97, so that's all good. I'm just thinking, like, does he actually need the cath lab? Like, he's not got any
I don't think he needs the cath lab. I mean, there's no STEMI. Like, he's not going for an angio.
No, not straight away, so he can probably go to North Shore.
I think North Shore's appropriate.
I'd get the pilots to change.
A key moment for me was when one of the paramedics said, we're going to North Shore. And I remember thinking, that's really good. Just from some of the signals I was getting from the paramedics, it felt like he was quite stable at that point.
He lives on the shore and there's no ST changes, so it's not going to go for an angio straight away.
Roger that. North Shore it is.
Were you guys just up for the day to the beach?
Yeah, we arrived at 7, so it was a very pretty morning until then.
Yeah.
He should be pretty good for this. And like, he's normally fit and well by the looks of things.
He's the fittest guy I know. Like, he's fit. When I was towing him back, because I kept just talking to him to keep him conscious, but he was like dribbling quite heavily.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
was he slurring his speech?
Yeah. Well, he was conscious, but he wasn't really. All he was doing was mumbling and groaning. So
yeah.
If Simon had been surfing by himself that day, the situation could have been a lot worse.
There's a good chance that he probably would have died.
He was unable to tow himself back in, so potentially he could have cardiac arrested out in the ocean and nobody would have known. Mark played a massive role in saving Simon that day. He was a key link in saving his life, pretty much.
All secure?
All secure.
After a frightening cardiac event in the water off Mangawhai, Simon's now being transported to hospital by a chopper from the Northland Emergency Services Trust.
I mean, his colour's a million times better than when we arrived.
We're just coming into land now, so...
Affirm. Ladies and gents, if you're secure, that'd be great.
We are all secure, thank you.
Thank you very much.
It was a strange sort of feeling, in and out of consciousness or in and out of sleep, dozing in the chopper, coming to, realising I was in the helicopter, and then going back again to sleep. And then I arrived in hospital, and I was okay.
Leah.
We're here. How you doing?
Is that Leah?
Yeah.
Your mate Mark's here too.
Where's Mark?
Just here, bud.
Hey,
All right? You look good, man. You look okay.
What's my heart doing?
Going at 70 now instead of 260, so that's good.
Whilst he can't remember what exactly has happened in the last 20 minutes, I think he's quite grateful. His condition has improved quite a lot since we met.
Got you home in under 20 minutes, dude.
Where are we? North Shore Hospital.
It was almost like I came to when I actually arrived at the hospital.
Don't drop me. Don't drop me.
It was a hot day, and it was quite hot in the chopper. So yeah, feeling the fresh air was quite a relief.
Where's Mark?
He's coming.
That ketamine was outrageous. And the heart something weird shit.
It has.
For the most part, it is.
1, 2, 3. Oh. Yeah.
Okay, just into the ambulance, mate, okay?
Okay, is that a bit better? Mark's just behind you. Big morning.
I felt quite strange then because of the ketamine. But at that point, I knew that, that I was safe and that I was going to be all right.
With Simon now in the hands of the medical team for further treatment at North Shore Hospital, Leah and Jared's work is done and it's time to return to base.
To change a patient's outcome feels amazing. Knowing that they're in a better condition than when you first arrived is the entire point.
The patient needed an intervention to be provided to him in a timely manner, which we were able to do. It was a good feeling to know that, you know, we've been able to sort of make an impact on someone.
Helimed 5 landed Kensington.
I'm incredibly grateful to the crew that came and got me the heck out of there. I didn't know that I had issues with my heart. I'm incredibly grateful to my close friend Mark for giving up his awesome surf session and paddling me in. And I'm just incredibly grateful to be alive.
So not a day I'm going to forget very quickly. For whatever reason, whoever's looking out for you, like lots of things fell in our favor. But I remember thinking, like, when you take that responsibility and you go, like, it's me, like, dude, I'll take you. Like, we're going to try and do this. That's quite a responsibility and something that I think a lot about.
It really is a game changer. Your whole outlook on life changes. I think that it's given me a whole new lease on life and a new steer on life. And I've got many, many years left. Might not surf for a while, if at all again, but we'll cross that bridge. I'm blessed and lucky to be alive.
It's a stormy afternoon and weather conditions mean it's going to be a race against the clock for the next Northland Rescue helicopter team to reach an injured woman in the Bay of Islands.
Slid off motorbike head first, spinal injuries maybe. We're going to Kawakawa. The information we had was that the rider of a motorcycle, an older adult, has fallen off in the township. The ambulance crew had collected the patient from the road and was meeting us at Bay of Islands Hospital, where there's a helipad. The pilots were concerned about the weather. The main issue we have when flying is visibility and how high the cloud is. Low cloud and thunderstorms were coming in. The chances of us collecting this patient and getting out before the weather came in were pretty slim, but it was an option if we could manage it and manage it safely without causing the patient any discomfort. We managed to sneak into Bay of Islands before it came in. Oh, a bit of thunder. As we arrived, there was a bit of lightning. The pilots don't really like lightning and thunderstorms. They tend to avoid them. And we had a short window where we could get back out again before the storm came through.
Hey, how you doing? We just missed the rain and we're gonna try be speedy.
Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
So this is Irene. She was on her motorcycle going through Kawakawa. I'm not sure if you know the roads in Kawakawa much, but we have a lovely train track goes through, and every time there's a bit of rain, all the motorcyclists come off. She has pretty much primarily landed on her right side.
Okay.
She has an old previous shoulder injury, which she's claiming now she's pretty much has smashed up again.
She's falling onto the asphalt, which is very hard, and bones come off second best. A very real possibility of quite a few broken bones.
Extremely tender on palpation, about C2 down pretty much the entire cervical area. It's very tender, like just about lifting up.
Yeah.
No neurological deficits, but she does have tingling down her right leg, but we've got good sensation, good movement, and she's got good pulses. The tingling has stopped. This tingling stopped. Brilliant.
She could still feel all of her extremities and still move everything, so we weren't super worried about her neck.
She's also having periodic muscle spasms.
But she could still have broken a bone in her neck as well, without it causing any sort of numbness. So we just have to be cautious.
So has she gone over the top of the handlebars or skidded? Yeah, and then landed on that right side, yeah. What sort of speed were you going roundabout?
Not very fast.
Yeah, like under 50k or?
I think so, yeah, because he was like a 30k zone by the roadworks. Yeah.
She's later in life, so the chance of having some broken bones from a low-speed crash like that is higher. She's already had shoulder injuries on that side, so she's got severe pain to that right shoulder and to her hip.
Yeah, because
We have an issue with the weather coming in, so we've probably got 15 minutes before we have to be gone, or we have to wait for it to pass, or we have to go by road.
So I'll get this if we want to then try and get into your helicopter.
Yeah.
Because I think that's probably the best bet. So we're quite aware that she could have damaged her pelvis or her hip, which is a pretty significant injury, particularly if it's her pelvis.
The window of opportunity is running out if the crew want to beat the storm. Irene's in a lot of pain, so do they stay and treat her or attempt to get her in the helicopter?
Maybe we've probably got 5 minutes. We have an issue with the weather coming in, so we've probably got 15 minutes before we have to be gone, or we have to wait for it to pass, or we have to go by road.
It's feared that this injured motorcyclist has significant injuries to her pelvis and hip, and with a storm closing in, the Nest team need to move fast.
Maybe we've probably got 5 minutes. We had a brief window from when we landed to where we could still take off again.
What do you want to do? Do you want to try, or do we want to try and stabilise first?
I'm happy to take our time and make her comfortable.
Because the patient was in a lot of pain, we elected to stay with the patient at Bay of Islands Hospital, get on top of her pain and wait for the weather to pass.
The suspicion of underlying injuries means Irene urgently needs a CT scan, so she'll be flown to Whangarei Hospital as soon as the weather clears. And while they get her comfortable, she's reunited with her partner, who was first on the scene when she crashed.
Oh, good, I wondered where he was.
Come on in, mate.
Hello, love. Hello, darling. How are you? Oh, you know.
Net blood pressure, I'm not happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, it could be quite inaccurate just because of the, like, that type of cuff. But yeah, she looks good colour and everything like that, yeah.
Wearing a C collar makes a lot of sense when you're moving along in the road in the ambulance. And when you're in a kind of more stable, less bumpy environment, then we can think about whether it's still required or not.
Now, I'd like you to keep your head as still as you can. I'm just going to move a few things about.
What's Paul doing?
Who's that, sir? Is that your partner?
He's just at the door.
I'm here, babe.
They're great if you've got an obvious, unstable fracture of your neck.
If I support your head, do you want to try push that?
To a collar.
I might have to use.
Yeah, I think head blocks might be better. Yeah, that's what we'll do.
If they've got pain, but it's not obvious that they've broken anything, we can opt to have, say, some rolled up towels next to the head and just keep their head nice and still.
We're going to take this collar off. I'll just lift your head up just very slightly. That's it, nice and still.
What's happening with my bike? It's parked up safe at the Foursquare. Okay.
She seems like a fairly stoic woman.
Is it fucked? No. It started and ran it perfectly.
It's amazing how often people are more worried about their motorbike or their car than they are about themselves.
Do you guys know what happened to my helmet?
We've got your helmet.
Oh,
yeah.
There you go.
It's an important part of their life.
Don't mind me. You keep your head nice and still. I'm just going to shimmy a few things around.
Irene, I'm just going to give you some pain relief as well, okay?
Okay, you do that.
I think for the most part, her injuries, they were very painful, but probably not life-threatening.
Oh, my hip's really starting to go now.
Your what, sorry?
Hip.
Your hip? Yeah.
The main injury that we'd be concerned about would be if she's done damage to her pelvis. She could have some bleeding in there, but she seemed stable. The main problem seemed to be the pain.
So I'm just giving you some really good medicine now. It's kind of like morphine. This one's just going to go under your chin and just remind you to keep your head nice and still.
We elected to move into Bay of Islands ED and do a more thorough assessment and wait for the weather. Should we get out of here before it rains?
Yeah, good call, good call. Is that gas helping with the pain?
I think so.
Yeah.
Not sure.
I think the thing that helped most with the pain was seeing your husband. He was a good distraction.
He drives me up the wall. Seriously, I've literally just passed my restricted license on my bike.
Oh, no.
Sorry. Just breathe.
Yep.
Just in your back, was it?
Oh, shoulder.
Oh, shoulder. Just nice, slow, deep breaths.
Oh.
The team wait out the storm in the hospital, topping up Irene's pain relief and securing her pelvic strap.
If we roll out now, we might miss the rain.
And when it's time to go, the team are racing the clock again before another burst of weather comes through.
All right, we're just gonna gun it, all right?
Oh, that's nice. It might cool you down. You'll get there? Yeah, cool.
People under stress, you get an interesting perspective on their personality. Perhaps a little bit more of a raw view. Okay, we'll be going up a ramp. Get your elbows tucked in. We'll try and get some earmuffs on you because she's pretty noisy.
Oh dear.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
Feel free to take the scenic route.
Although she was in a lot of pain, she still cracked a few jokes. Yeah, she was a character.
Don't know if you're going to see much, sorry. Except the roof.
These are the kind of patients I love. You know that they're really sore and they're having a pretty shit day, but they can still see the funny side. Well, maybe not the funny side, but the bright side of their situation. The road between Bay of Islands and Whangarei is not very good. It's quite bumpy, lots of potholes, so it would have been a very unpleasant drive for her. Nice to be able to make a difference to people, and always a bonus if they make it through with a good outcome.
When Irene was admitted to hospital, she underwent a series of tests where, thanks to her safety gear, no broken bones were found. And while she still suffers from numbness in one knee, she has no long-term impact from the crash. Almost anything can go wrong on the water. And today, Sophie Roberts and a crew from Coast Guard North Shore are heading to something a little different. A jet ski with 2 people on board has broken down in the Hauraki Gulf, which should be a straightforward enough job.
So where they were situated at Home Bay on Mītāpē Island, they were actually on a peninsula, and they were on the eastern side of the peninsula. They were tucked in quite close to shore, actually in some rocks. Once we worked out where they were, we had a look and we did try to take the boat in, but then we realised it wasn't feasible, and if the tide was to drop, we ourselves would get stuck there.
Let's back out of here and we'll...
Can we walk from here?
Go around to the jetty.
It was much safer to go around where there's plenty of clear water and just walk up over the hill.
So it's a nice place to stop.
So when we got there, we came across a jet ski that needed a jump start.
I don't know.
But the issue was that they were in amongst some rocks and the tide was going out, and they only had this narrow window to get over the rocks with there being enough water.
We need to make sure you're still going to be able to get out, so need to keep it afloat. That's a jump pack, so if you want to open up and get your battery ready.
We jump started and got it going. We realised that they'd sucked up some rocks into the jet unit, and so we could hear it kind of rattling around.
Right. Give it a go.
Which made it difficult for them to move their jet ski. It was quite fiddly with the throttle.
Yeah, it's pushing forward.
It feels like it's in gear. Just make sure you're in neutral.
We had some issues there of finding a nice neutral without the jet ski trying to take off onto the beach or straight back onto rocks.
Fully forward.
Once we got the jet ski started, we just kind of had to hold it in position, get the people on and get them out over the rocks. We could see the tide was dropping.
And with the rocks still rattling around, there's nothing for it but to set up a tow back to the mainland.
I will show you this line and I will pull you outside, okay?
Okay, I'm going to drive forward a little bit.
Yep.
And I'm now neutral. Both of you guys want to jump on our boat? It might be more comfy.
Now with jet skis, you can't tow them too fast, otherwise water can go up the jet the wrong way and damage it. And so we towed them into Half Moon Bay at a nice cruising speed of 5 knots and got them safely back to the boat ramp. They were very pleased to get back to shore. Like anyone, they're kind of just disappointed that they had some issues with their vessel, but nothing a trip to the mechanic won't fix.
Thanks for your patience, guys.
Coast Guard could potentially be viewed as blokes in boats, but Sophie Roberts has news for you.
Coast Guard's a really diverse organisation and the volunteers come from a range of backgrounds. Typically it has been seen as a more male-dominated field, but over the years more and more women are getting involved, and at my unit now we have enough women to crew the vessel. I'm currently doing my PhD in marine science, looking at muscle restoration, tying Coast Guard volunteering and my research together. So no matter your background, there's always a role for you.
And every now and then, there are real perks to the job.
What? What? Where? You gotta slow down. You gotta slow down.
How many we got? 1, 2.
Here they come.
It's a real privilege seeing dolphins or marine mammals out there. You've got to always remember that you are in their environment. You are the visitor there. And so you have to be really respectful of that and obey the rules. Mortalities that we do see with marine mammals is from ship strike and propeller impact. The Department of Conservation has really good resources around how to approach marine mammals and how to interact when they're around. But the general rule is within 300 metres, no faster than idle or awake speed, and no more than 3 vessels within 300 metres.
Woohoo, that's beautiful.
Being in the presence of other marine mammals out there, you feel really fortunate. We've really got to be respectful of their environment and really slow down and take a moment so that you can continue to enjoy them.
Oh, that was so exciting.
You like that?
Okay, happy now, we've seen dolphins.
And with that blissful interlude over, here comes the work.
North Shore, Coast Guard UHF. You're in a position to drop what you're doing there and head to an urgent job.
Affirmative. Clear that, get ready for details.
Roger, you can make this safe speed for the northern end of Duda's Point. We have a 10-year-old child who has a head injury, significant bleeding.
Often happens, something comes through and you have to suddenly change tracks. So for this job, a medical event had happened just out of Mītāpē, and we were the closest asset, so they asked if we could go and help with the medical event. Being a Coast Guard volunteer, you kind of get a really broad range of roles on the boat. We try to rotate round crew positions, and so everyone gets a chance to helm on the different conditions.
That's good, thank you. Okay, Tony, are you ready for us to come up, please?
So now it's up to Sophie to get the crew there and at speed.
All right, let's go.
Holding.
Holding.
Bit above.
What's the fuel? 86. Start thinking medical, guys. What we're dealing with, head injury. I lean offshore. Are you guys on the beach or in a boat? You're on the beach? Okay, cool. He's on the beach where he thinks there aren't many rocks, so we'll make our own assessments.
Looks like someone's standing down there.
Okay, bring it right down. Off the plane. Off the plane. We're going to put Sophie and Tony on the shore. Yep, swap out now.
Thank you.
Jobs can come across quite straightforward in their tasking details. You have a SAP 100, so that's stop, assess, plan at 100 metres, where we slow down, look at the risks out there and kind of devise a plan. And you always have plan A, plan B, plan C, and as you're going through, you're continually adapting for these circumstances, so that if things change, you can kind of roll with it a bit better.
While Sophie and Tony Wynyard prep to go ashore, Lee navigates a path through the rocky shoreline.
I've always grown up within Auckland and been involved on the water. Very early pictures of me out at the beach, swimming and snorkeling, looking at the sand. So I've always enjoyed being on the water and in the water. And I also really enjoy helping people and getting involved with the community.
How you doing, fella? You bashed your head. Hi, I'm Tony. This is Sophie.
Hello.
We're going to... That's all right.
We're just over here.
You don't really want to see us anyway. What actually happened? Just talk us through.
So we were swimming, and I think he went underwater, and I think he's basically gone into one of those rocks with our...
So you headbutt one of the rocks? OK.
It's got a few scratches, but mainly took it on the head on the...
How big is it?
It's down to the bone.
OK.
Yeah, so it's about a centimetre,
OK.
centimetre and a half in length, but...
All right. So what we'll do in a minute, we'll get you to just take your hand away. We'll put a dressing over the top and then just give you a nice little wrap around the head. So have you got a bit of a headache at all?
Yeah.
A little bit? You seen any stars or...
No.
Nothing like that? Let's get him into the shade first. I just don't want him out in the sun because I can see he's going red already. You all right?
And we're going to walk over it to
Okay.
the shade, all right? Put your arm around my waist.
Oh, that's a lovely...
Nice.
Lovely hole. You're doing really well, man. So that's stuck back together. So what we'll do is we'll put some dressing on now.
Yeah, I'm just going to hold your head, OK?
Yeah.
You good there?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's just so we can keep it in place.
Is it bleeding?
No, no. No, it's not bleeding anymore. And not sure, mate. Yeah, this 10-year-old boy has a deep laceration to his forehead and will need to go to a hospital.
Any severe loss of blood, or have you got that managed well?
No, it's all under control now. I'll talk to the parents and see what they want to do. We can take you ashore. We can ask for an ambulance to meet you.
You can drop us off at Mātai. I've got a friend waiting to take me to pick the car up.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
North Shore, mate. Yeah, if we can drop the family back to Mītāpē Beach, they have a car there and they will go straight to the medical centre from there. You all right? I'll just give you a bunch up. You just go easy.
Go.
Just sit yourself down.
Lovely job.
All right.
Thank you very much. That's all.
Good.
Just get the weight back.
Yeah.
That's it.
If we just head to the back of the boat, we'll sort out life jackets and stuff. Thank you. It's really important to keep in mind the safety out there, having their communications, their life jackets, but it's remembering that you're out on the water, conditions can change. So before you leave shore, keeping in mind situational awareness, the tide, the wind, and keeping safe while out there.
How are you feeling?
Look at me again. Just want to make sure your eyes are all good. Yeah. Just be a little boat ride and then we'll get you back ashore. Well, that was a lovely day out, eh?
For me, I really like the social aspect of not only the Coast Guard cruise, but also who you meet out there. You're always learning, always training, even when it's on a job, because each job is different. Fun being on the boat in general.
All right. How's Mum? All right?
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
That's okay.
Good luck. Thanks a lot. Hopefully won't see you too soon.
G'day.
Next time on First Responders.
Stop.
A severely broken leg means Mātua is taking a shortcut off the side of a mountain.
No way. Are we actually going up?
Try, eh?
A cardiac patient takes a terrifying turn.
Dawn, can you open your eyes?
And a runaway tractor accident with a patient who can still see the funny side.
Is it worse when you move?
Well, I haven't moved. Okay.